But he's flying! Yes! There's history!
There in front, the crowd roaring, go, Lonro, go, but the 3-year-old in front, Delsayer, Lonro, he's coming, he's going to get there, yes, Lonro won it! Proud by Whisper, my Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast as Matty throws his hands up in disgust. Welcome to Off-Peak Racing, as I like to call it this time of year. Matty, how are you?
Going well, William. How are you, mate?
Good.
I thought we'll go to Hawaii.
Yeah, look, I'll set the challenge. We'll go Stradbroke win, and I'll completely change it with it at the end.
All right, done deal. It does probably need to win a Group 1.
It does, but if you win like that, you are a chance of winning a Group 1, especially in I think, going to be a soft Stradbroke.
Yeah, I think there's 2 clear chances and you can make a case for a few others.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good win, and it was my probably only highlight of Saturday.
That's all right. I think Yellow Brick was okay. I just probably didn't get the map that we thought it was going to get.
No, correct. And 280-ish, 250 into $2, and I'm sitting there going, I've got this completely wrong. Didn't think they'd firm that much, and when it's sort of sat midfield, I'm like, I'm very happy where we have landed, and 200 to go. I thought, no, this is where I've got to have a yell here, and I was sitting in the owners area at Sandown, waiting for a race to be run at Sandown, and everyone's looking at me. I forgot where I was.
Mate, that's all right. No, that's a joy about off-season racing, as you said. It's finding these horses that they go across to Adelaide, they go up to Brisbane, and they win these group races. So it's good to find these horses, and we'll continue to follow them. There's plenty that we've found, even in the early days of this show, like Flemington, who's running this weekend.
Yes, definitely. And we even find Adelaide Derby winners.
Indeed. You call them months out and don't back them.
No, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. It's still a sick area, but no, it'd be good. Stradbroke next Saturday, I think, so that'd be good to jump into. But we will jump into this week's podcast. Flemington Race 5, I'm going to preview. Matty's going to dive deep into Eagle Farm Race 7, bets around the grounds. Our multi, where I think we both let each other down, which is...
Yeah, I think you're very lucky that Ken ran 4th.
Yes, I think we exchanged a message late Saturday, and you're like, has the Western Border cost us the multi? And I'm like, no, you did. So I felt a little bit better, but yeah, footy's in the bin for now. We will stick to what I think we go better at, and that's racing. And pineapple for the week, I'll finally hold on to it for a week. So we're in rare areas, and pretty confident we can hold on to it for a second week. So stay tuned. Talking points this week, Kovalika, Matty. I love talking about these horses that win big races and find themselves favourite for our big races. No doubt about it. Kovalika, I put it in our multi and I liked it. Won very nicely. Would you take a piece of the $11 for the Caulfield Cup?
$11 for the Caulfield. Interesting. No, not at this stage. As we've said on plenty of occasions, the horses that run in the autumn and also in the winter, how they go in the spring is sometimes quite questionable. I did see us paying 15 for the Cox, though.
Yeah, I totally understand it being favourite for the Caulfield Cup because they were always a weaker edition, and I totally get it, but yeah, I just don't. I find it laughable when someone wins a big race, a qualifying race, they're firmed into favourite for a Melbourne Cup, and yeah, it's a 4-year-old Waller. He doesn't really like to push them, I don't think. At 4, he likes them to find their feet.
Indeed, yeah.
So yeah, I hope he doesn't. I hope he pulls the trigger on this horse and goes to a Caulfield Cox plate because yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it stacks up. These 3-year-olds.
What would it carry for a Cox? Be mid-50s?
57, I reckon.
Okay, so.
Is it a man? No, it's a male. My fault. Yeah, I'm unsure. That's one thing
It'd be
I'm
about
very
56, 57, I think.
yeah, I'm very unknowledgeable in weights and measures and ages. So
But again, look, we found this one. We followed it from when it first came back, and yeah, it's been impressive ever since. So interesting to see what they do with it throughout the spring.
yeah, I'm very interested to see what Waller does. Hopefully, pulls the trigger.
Yes.
I reckon it was 3 podcasts ago. Maddie, you mentioned She's a Con. Obviously, didn't make it to any derbies because the ownership
Yeah,
or
Queensland derby.
trainers. Yeah, they were worried that he travel issues and they didn't want to travel the horse, which is, I think, a good idea, especially at the young age. Um, Australian owners have bought in and it's going to be going to Graham Begg in Melbourne. So I know you were pretty keen on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought its form over there was super. So being set for a Queensland Oaks was quite an achievable task. So it'd be interesting to see what the Beg camp have in mind for it. I would imagine they'll get it settled here over the winter, and we'll expect to see it in Melbourne approaching the spring.
Yeah, definitely. You'll definitely get some good prices, I reckon, as well, because it's flown under the radar and
Yep.
he might be one you keep an eye on for the big cups and Melbourne Cups because you could actually get a good price for this one.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, with all of these horses, interesting to see how they settle in, but I think you'll get some value through the futures.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a somber note to end this talking point segment. Start off with a semi sadness. Gunstock and Kementari both retired this week. Gunstock pulled up with another injury, so trainers said it's best for the horse to retire it. Great decision, and it's what's getting better about our industry. They're retiring horses if they're not right and not pushing on like they would have done, say, 20 years ago or 30, even longer. So happy retirement to him. Kementari, biggest cat going round, so he'll win the Milk Drinker Award for all punters, but yeah, went to stud, shot blanks, came back as a gelded. So happy retirement to him. He's been a frustrating horse, but yeah, good story for the sport. And to end on sad notes, Ferrante and Trust and August both passed away this week. So rest in peace, especially for the owners and trainers and all people who are involved with that horse. Ferrante was definitely one of my favourite horses because of my pockets, especially the Dato Chin Nam run and win when it sat last with Nash on board was probably my favourite outside the Melbourne Cup. And yeah, Trust and Gus, DK Weir, just a strong, bold animal that never gave up. To think about those two horses. They were pretty good horses in the end.
Indeed. Obviously, yeah, Group 1 winning horses, so unfortunate, but yeah, it does happen. And I like your first point around retiring the horses after multiple injuries as well. The Sydney Swans could probably take a lesson out of that. Too soon?
Oh, I like it. It's not bad. I didn't know where you were going. I'm still angry at Blake Shin for butchering Ferrante in a Cox Plate. I still haven't forgiven him, and I'd love to spray him next time I see him. I will never let it go, but tongue in cheek. But yeah, sad way to end the segment. But move on to track stats. Rail out 8 meters. To my eye and stats that I use, this rail position is the most fairest it's ever going to be for this track. Everyone will get their chance to win. The slightest of edge is going to be lane 4 to 7. They win at 44%. As I try and find my notes, leaders at 33%, mids at 31%, and rear at 36%. You cannot get any more even than that on any track around Australia. Lanes 1 to 3, 20%. Lanes 4 to 7, 44%. Lanes 8 to 11, 18%. And 12 plus is 7%. So just look for those horses just stalking the speed in lanes 4 to 7 when straightening. Trial trackers this week. It's more of a black booker, I could almost say, for this one. Is Flemington Race 8, number 10, Sir Davy. He's had 2 jump outs. I've really liked the most recent jump out at Werribee over the 1100 meters in the yellow and blue colors, Jamaica's, if anyone remembers that horse. I just loved how this horse went about it. Now, this horse probably runs a nice 3rd or 6th on Saturday, but this horse will be aimed for a winter championship at Flemington in around July, I think it is. Chuck it in your black book because 3rd up, it's going to be a nice, if they run nice races 1st and 2nd up, I think we can have a serious bet launch into these. Blinkers were on in the jump out and now they come off. So that tells me not yet, wait. And when those blinkers go on, we're going to have a big play and we will be winning. So put it in your black book. I don't think it's good enough to win 1st up, but race 8, number 10, Sir Davy. As I said, races 5 from Flemington and race 7 from Eagle Farm. I will kick things off here. Pretty open races. Race 5, 3-year-olds over the 2,000 metres. Favourite here we have Son of Solly, $4.80. First Immortal, $5. Oceans Above, $6.50. Reservoir Dog, $8.50. Verifia, $11. Ain't He Grand, $11. Got to Be Savvy, $11. King's Crossing, $14. You're going to have $18 at the rest. Now, one thing I noted with this race is, yes, it's a 3-year-old race and it's 2,000 metres, but this is basically a benchmark 64 race. So any horses out of maidens or around that benchmark, anyone can win this. It's not just an open 3-year-old. So this time of year, you got to really look at these ratings because they can be quite deceiving just seeing 3-year-old racing, but it's on average a 64 benchmark 64 race. Speed map here. I've got the pace is coming from the outside barriers with Disturbia and King's Crossing. I think they come across and they'll take the lead. Blake Shin on First Immortal has a decision to make here to roll forward and make the leaders work even more to get to that lead, and he can camp right behind him. Or if he snoozes just that little bit, he could be 3 wide, no cover, and that's not going to be ideal for this horse. He might be able to slot in behind the leaders, as I said, but Ain't He Grand, Son of Solly, should find good spots from barriers 3 and 2. Oceans Above with Harry Coffey on board. I think they've got a decision to make too, because if barrier 1, they don't jump cleanly or Harry just has to think about it a little bit, they could be on the rail here, especially from 1, near the rear. They could be shuffled right back and seen a lot of rear ends. I've matched Reservoir Dog near the rear, but it wouldn't surprise me if they sit a lot closer than last start. So I've mapped him near last, but barrier 5, I can't see them doing that coming off a grand final. In saying all that, I'm happy to be with Son of Solly here at around $5. Thought the run was really good last start. First Immortal laid in at about 150 to go. We sort of had to, he was 1.5 lengths clear when he did it, and we just had to change lanes to get into open air. Thought the run was good considering. Now, if my map is correct, we get the better runs in transit. This horse has proven itself at 2,000 already, so it's ticked that box. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't know the jockey on board here in Wirramu Pin, claiming 3, but reports are that he will be better than Mick Walker and has better credentials than Mickey Walker when coming across to Australia. Claiming 3 kilos, they still reckon that's stealing. And all his rides last week at Sandown were well supported on very average horses. So I think this kid is a big watch while he's in Australia for the time being. That's Wirramu Pin, claiming 3. Reservoir Dog, Verifia, and Negotiator. They got way too far back last start in separate races. They hit the line well. If they show any intent from the barriers, I think they can run big races at double figure odds, and wouldn't surprise me if they win, if they slot in nicely. First Immortal, I did say this map is all pending on this race. Where they land, if they 3 wide, no cover, geez, he's going to be vulnerable late. But if he slots in, it could be a good bet to have mid-race. But yeah, Blake Shin on board, not going to question him whatsoever. Up 2.5, I think, kilos on last start. So he's got a bit to carry, especially on the ones on the minimum, or 52 kilos with a few claimers. So yeah, big ass, 60 kilos for a benchmark 73 horse. In saying all that, I'm happy to be with Son of Solly here, number 6. Matty, any thoughts?
Yeah, mate. Just one question for you on Verify. Just one I identified. It's a bit of a back marker, and you have a look at it when it does get out to a distance. Kind of sits back in the last 2 or 3, and always improves. Tends to finish between 2nd and 5th. So it hasn't really got the job done. Still a maiden after 10 career starts. Take into consideration, though, a lot of those early races were over shorter distances. But just wanted to get your thoughts on it within the field.
Yeah, I have been a big supporter of this horse. I don't like the jockey engagement here. Robbie Downing, no offense to him, but he's just not up to city grade. They'll just flush him out the back because that's what the trainer likes to do with these horses and run on. He was massive in the Chairman's 2 starts ago against Red Sun Sensation, Loco, Suzuru. He was huge. I was keen on this horse at Flemington last start, but I knew our fate in the first 100 metres when they went back from barrier 5. If they roll forward, he can definitely win, but I don't think jockey and trainer have the ability to roll forward. Good last start, form's good, on the minimum, perfect, but it's the trainer jockey. It just, you got to, If you keep backing this trainer and jockey, you'd be broke.
I did notice Linda Meach did try and sit forward on it once at Ballarat, once at 2nd, and I've noticed Linda hasn't read it since.
No, correct. And he would have, And out of that race is Fame, who has finished 2nd in a Queensland derby. Brun King, who runs in Saturday Metros. I remember that race vividly because we backed Fame, and I'm still sick about it.
Yeah, just a horse I think has got talent, but I understand how you couldn't tip it.
Yeah, if I was the owners, I'd be taking it off them.
It doesn't help if the trainer's the owner.
Yep, correct. All right. Obviously, subscribing to our YouTube and any podcast platform, please subscribe, guys, to our YouTube or any podcast platform. Please rate us on Spotify if you're a Spotify regular listener. We'd love to grow our rating and audience. Everything we do here is free, no paywalls whatsoever. We just do it for the love of it. So please subscribe. Please rate our podcast. That's all we ask for you guys to do if you're a regular listener. If you would like to be part of our Whispers WhatsApp group, please either email me down below or DM me or Maddie, and we'll put you straight through. Last night, Nick and I recorded the NBA podcast, dropped last night. It's a very tough podcast to do, considering I think it's going to be very one-sided, but I think there's some little value bets that you can have going into the NBA finals. Maddie?
Yeah, don't disagree. Miami were enormous getting it done at Boston after they got done on the buzzer. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took a game off the Nuggets, but I can't see them taking too much more.
Well, you're definitely agreeing with Nick because he reckons they can take a game somewhere. So hit 4-1, I think it's around $6. You can find some good prices wherever you may be punting. Matty, race 7. You want to do the Moreton Bay Bugs Cup?
The Moreton Bay Bugs Cup, I do indeed, mate. The best bugs going around. But mate, interesting race this one. I think you'll find there'll be a little bit of pace on. But the horses that do want to go forward, I don't think they'll be headed by too many. So I'll go through a few I don't mind in this race. We'll start off with the odds though.
Yep. Quantico is our favourite here, 270. Prince of Boom for 20. Far Too Easy, $6. Clemenceau, $9. Ravina, $11. A Baller, $12. And you can have the rest at $20 plus.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. Look, in terms of speed, I do see Prince of Boom being the horse to go forward. He did it in the Doomben 10,000. I see it being similar here. Clemenceau sitting on its back. And then after that, I think it'll be the middle to inside horses that get the better run. The outside horses, I can't see too many of them really pushing up and tackling the lead. So I do see Prince of Boom here getting a pretty soft lead, followed by Clemenceau should really be pushing up and sitting second with Ryan Maloney on board. That's where I'm going to start, Clemenceau. Now, it's one of our favourites on the show, but has very quickly become a frustrating horse and a bit of a money muncher. And my big question is, can this horse win a group race? I've got big question marks over it winning a group race. I think listed and high benchmark races, absolutely. Here, it is definitely D-Day for Clemenceau because you cannot get a better run in the race. Barrier number 3, take the back of Prince of Boom, and you should get your chance because you'll be able to peel off its back on the corner uninterrupted. This horse needs to build momentum early and keep hitting the line. Where it struggles is if it runs up horses' bums, loses its momentum, it can't regain that momentum very quickly. So it needs that clear run in the race, but it's D-Day for Clemenceau here in this Group 2. I don't think it'll get too much of a better chance winning a group race. Worm, I can't tip it on top, but Clemenceau, as I said, one that we've been on plenty of times. It needs to live up to its potential, especially within group racing. We're going to go to Far Too Easy. Now, look, this horse has been running quite well and has got the ability to run a time that's going to be right in the finish. However, 15 rounds and Far Too Easy isn't really the form I want to be following here. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a bowl running, and it'll probably be the one coming down the furthest outside, flashing home. But again, I don't necessarily want to be on it here at $6. So I'll be bypassing Far Too Easy, which leaves us with Prince of Boom and Quantico. Now, Prince of Boom, Doomben 10,000, found the front with, pretty much led most of the way, but found the front, 300 to go, and got overrun. But look at the horses that got overrun by. Like you're talking Overpass, Marzu, Giga Kick, very, very good horses. You don't find that quality of horse within this field. So, look, Timmy Clark is going to need to ride a perfect race to get Prince of Boom home with an easy lead. But with that easy lead, it's not going to do too much work up front. So Prince of Boom, I can see how it's in the market around about that 440 mark. Worm, I have got Quantico on top. Now, I can't believe I had to watch that replay at Scone again. Shane Mack on board. I'm not expecting to have that type of mistake happen on Quantico. Now, expected to be sitting in the first 6. I'll probably even say first 5 or first 4. I hope it probably sits on the outside of Clemenceau or maybe just on the back of it, 3 back. And really, from there, it should have the acceleration to be pushing in the finish. Now, Quantico, I'd be surprised, Worm, if this horse wasn't being called in the finish. Top 3, I think, is a very good chance. Now, the price at $270, I wouldn't be taking that right now. I think you'll find money does come for Prince of Boom, especially given the field that it was running against in the Doomben 10,000. I expect that to shorten. I expect Quantico to get out to, I don't know, 320, 350. I think that's a reasonable price to be taking Quantico in this field. Worm, how did you see them?
Very even race. I think, as you said, the market's a touch wrong. And if you wait for Quantico, you're definitely going to get a better price. I know the form reads well from last prep with Quantico, but when I watch the replays, they were just a bit of a plain run. Yeah, it's easier this, so that's got to be taken into consideration. 270 is not a price for me. I'm never price sensitive, but when I just can't take it. I'm definitely not going to lay the horse and take it on because, yeah, you'll definitely get burnt. It's definitely got the right form, but is Scone and Clemenceau's Gosford form you want to be taken into a Group 2 at Eagle Farm? Probably not, but it's probably the race that you can to do it. So I'm a bit confused with it. Prince of Boom faded in the Group 1's last start, beaten by Giga Kick, Overpass, Marzu and Half Cabin, who are all going to be Everest runners, in my opinion. only to be beaten 2.8 at $4.40 here. I think it might be the right horse to be backing if it can get a soft lead. Just went a bit too hard last start in a big race. But I think, Prince of Broom, win bet. And then one at odds here I think we can play is Frosty Rocks. First up, 6 times first up, 3 wins and a third. 2 jump outs were both nicely. Wins both. So I think, it's just flying under the radar a little bit. At 26s, I think you can have a small each way play on that as well. But I definitely agree with you with Quantico, and I'm definitely not going to take it on. That's for sure. If anything, it might be a saver for me just to get something out of it.
I look at Prince of Boom, Quantico. I find them quite even in terms of the times that they can actually run. What I do definitely prefer is sitting on one that's going to maybe take a sit 2 horses back rather than Timmy Clark on board trying to lead the whole way on Prince of Boom. I feel that that's a little bit more risky. Understand the price aspect. I'm not going to be taking 270. I would imagine it's going to start with a 3 in front of it.
Yeah. Are you worried how far back it might get, Quantico?
If it was starting any further wide, yes. From barrier number 6 with Shakiro being scratched, barrier number 5, it's going to have Prince of Boom on its inside with Clemenceau. I expect both of those 2 to be in front of it. I'm hoping that from there, Quantico can take a tail and won't be sitting far back at all.
Yeah, agree, mate. If anyone other than J-Mac was on it, I'd be dead set having a lay on this. But yeah, I think J-Mac hunts up, sits midfield, and he's not giving too much of a head start away.
Just on a good track, this horse is exceptional.
Yep.
I think a couple of those races in Sydney, last preparation when it found a soft track, didn't really handle it very well. So as long as the track stays dry on, look, as I mentioned, I'd be very surprised if this horse is not being mentioned in the finish.
Yeah, 100%. It'll be interesting to see how Baller comes back. Obviously, been quite poor this prep. If you go back last prep, it's a genuine $5 pop.
I don't disagree with that. I haven't seen enough from the horse across the last. You need to go back to November when it came third in the VRC Classic to Rockin' Horse and just behind Nature Strip. But I haven't seen enough from it this preparation to really be putting in the numbers.
Last start was encouraging. I thought it was a better run, but I don't know if it was at top and that was its sort of grand final to see where he was at.
Yes.
But he's the interesting runner, especially Zara riding on him, and he has a good association with the horse. All right, around the grounds, Matty, where are we heading this weekend?
Mate, 3 races in Sydney, and we're mixing it up a little bit here because it is off-peak racing, so these are horses that I want to be following, and I want to find out a little bit more about. I think race 1, the 2-year-old race there over 1,300 metres, is really quite interesting. Tutor La Vida, horse that I'm quite interested in. Look, it ran home well in its first start. I think getting out to 1,300 metres is definitely going to suit this horse. When I have a look at the rest of the horses within the race, even though there are a number of first start winners in here, I didn't really think they found the line exceptionally well, and then moving up to 1,300 metres doesn't fill me with a whole lot of confidence. Now, Worm, this is a 2-year-old race. I think this is the classy horse within the field, but it's not a race that I'm going to be diving into. It's a race I'll be watching quite closely for the future, but I think Tutor La Vida is definitely the class horse within the field, so that's where I'll be playing to start the day in Sydney. From there, Worm, we'll be going to race number 5. Genetic Freak. If you haven't seen its last start at Hawkesbury, please do. It's a very interesting watch. Brett Preble on board. He's on board again. Look, again, we're in off-season racing, so this might be one for the future rather than for Saturday. However, it looks like it's got a whole lot of potential, this horse. Now, when it got to the 300-400 metre mark, Brett Preble gave it a bit of a touch-up with the whip, and it didn't react exceptionally well. So I wonder if Brett's going to be taking that tactic to Saturday. But realistically, this horse has got a lot of talent, and I think a small play at 18s isn't the worst play here. It's the first time it got out to 1,800 metres, and it's been looking for that for quite a long time. It's at 1,800 metres again this weekend, and I think it can run quite well. Genetic Freak at 18s, again, just a small play. But Worm, the main play for the day in Sydney will be on Al Albia. Now, we've tipped this horse before. It's been very consistent. Hasn't got the chocolates. I think at 320 here, it is quite a solid play. Now, I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts on that because I know you've got some queries on Alabia this weekend.
Oh, I don't know if it's queries. I think it's just, again, price. It's a open, listed grade, 2,400 meters. Your top rated horses are 100 with Desert Icon, Spirit Ridge, top weight, obviously. El Bahir coming out of benchmark 78 races, running no excuses and running nicely and deserves a crack at it, but it should be getting 10 kilos off these. And I just thought the price was a bit in the poison. I'm not saying it can't win, that's for sure, but I just saw the price and went, I think you can add a 4 to it instead of a 3. But a lot of judges that I respect are tipping this horse, including yourself, and I've got to respect that. I just think Desert Icon at 750 is a nice price to get involved, considering it won the JRA Cup down here in the spring. So I don't know if he'll run 2,400 though. That's my only query. And you've run 2,400 before and looked to handle it nicely. So yeah, it's just that price. If it was a 4, I'd probably say yes.
No, fair enough. It's always good to get your thoughts. Look, on the ratings part, I think the ratings well and truly undercooked considering its last 2 races. I know they've only been benchmark 78, so it's run third by 0.2 of a length and ran second by 0.1 of a length. So wins one of those, you're getting up towards your benchmark 90 ratings and not too far away. So I think within this field, look, I had a good look at Desert Icon and Spirit Ridge, and I think it can get both. I think it can handle both of those. Spirit Ridge, I'd probably have coming in second within this field.
If it definitely runs to its rating, Alba here, it'll definitely win. Just my last minute thing. My around the grounds, yes. Let's go. Flemington race 4, number 9, Legio 10, Legao 10, however you want to pronounce it, but it is Flemington race 4, number 9. I've probably butchered it. That's the $1.01. That's home. Very smart win first up at Bendigo. Came from last to win impressively. It's hard to do at Bendigo, I reckon, to sit last, go round them. I think it won with a leg in its hair. 12 months ago, it was running against Elliptical and Dashing. To note, Elliptical's been sold to Hong Kong, if anyone didn't know, and finishing 1 length away from these. Now, I think that's good enough for me. I know I'm not a fan of second up horses, but I think this is better than these and is definitely going to be winning second up. Flemington, race 7, number 15, or it could be Adelaide, race 5, number 6, Double Acceptor. Wherever they go, I will be backing this horse, no matter where it lands. Much easier kill in Adelaide at around the 220, I think it is. I'll be having a bigger bet there. But if it stays in Melbourne, we get a touch of a better price. So should find a good run in transit wherever it goes. 1 by 5 lengths last start. Now, if First Immortal comes out and wins in Melbourne, I think we can launch because it beat First Immortal home 2 starts ago. So definitely flying under the radar, this horse. Silent Sorrente. Matty, where are we? What are we adding? Sorry.
Well, we own Albert, the place around about that 160, 170, and Quantico, the place also. I think that's around about 140, 150. So no value this week, but confident that we'll get the chocolates with those two. Weren't you?
Definitely agree. Tick, tick, and then we'll go. I'll probably fuck this up in the first two legs. So we'll go Legao 10 the place. I think that's a good bet to have the place. And I'm going to chuck in race 5, Flemington, Sons of Solly the place. So that's Flemington race 4, Legao 10 the place. Race 5, Flemington, Son of Solly the place. Rose Hill race 6, Al Bahir the place. And Eagle Farm race 7, Quantico the place. Comes to around $7.30 wherever you may be playing. All right, pineapple of the week. Yeah, there's no Hawaii 5-0s. There's no $2 pops that are outstanding for me to just launch into. So, but I think I've found one here, and I think it's still a very, very good price to get involved in. I suggest take now because I think it starts with a 2 in front of it. Pens and pencils ready. It is Flemington race 6, number 4, Grey River. Sat 3 wide, no cover last start with Willow on board, only to be nabbed late by Snapped in a Group 2 race. 4th was Foxycon. We know how well it's been going down here. 2 starts ago, went in a Group 3, only went down by 1.3 to Royal Merchant and She Dances. Now, we know what Royal Merchant did the following week in a Group 1, and we know She's Dancers went well as well. So I feel it's elite form going into a benchmark 70 race at Flemington. Should find the perfect spot from barrier 2. Blake Shin on board, tick, $3.30. Thank you, bookies. I'm very keen and confident to be getting involved. Any thoughts?
Don't mind it at all. Look, I thought you might have followed me in with Quantico at the start of the show, but yeah, interesting. I did have a look at that for around the ground, so quite happy that you've mentioned it somewhere along the way.
Yeah, and yeah, it's in a very soft field, and if Blake Shin just gets it right, he'll be looking the winner with 300 to go and just peels out. Quantico, if it was $4 where they're saying some of it is, geez, you could easily have a bet. But yeah, when I'm seeing 270 across the board, not yet.
That's all right. And I think you're right with Grey River on the odds as well. I think you'll find it starts with a 2 in front of it.
Yeah. It's just it hasn't ticked that 1,400 meter box, but what it did last start, sitting 3 wide, no cover, I think it can tick that box with a very soft run in transit. Anything else to add, mate?
No, just good racing up in Eagle Farm this weekend. Really looking forward to it. A few of those 2-year-olds. I noticed a few horses going to the trials, getting ready for a Stradbroke like after Cabin on Friday. So we'll keep an eye on that. I know you said it's a bit of a softer Stradbroke, but I'm not fully aligned with that. I think it has got a bit of depth. There's 2 absolute standouts this preparation. But there is some depth in there, and we will tackle that next week.
I'll leave that to you, mate, because I'll just say it's Hawaii 5-0. We'll win. Did you catch Coolangatta's trial down the straight on Monday?
No, I didn't. Impressive?
No, it was disgusting. I hope they go because I'll be pushing the pink button on a certain corporate. Yeah. I saw an interview with Ma afterwards, and he was upset. He said, I wanted to see a lot more. The owner came on and said, nah, we're fine. We're pushing on. He's quite an arrogant bloke, so he will never accept defeat. But, geez, I hope they go because they will get beaten up and spat out and embarrassed. And, yeah, I can't be more confident of taking this horse on.
Okay,
I think it's 350 still somewhere.
Okay, I'll find that trial.
Yeah, find it because I've never been so excited about a horse going like a busted. I'm sorry about the owners. I'm sorry if you're a fan, but I love seeing that shit because, yeah, it just, how much I can just lay it till it hurts.
Okay.
I might see if I can
keep an eye on it.
I'll have to check if Betfair have got a price up already because I'm keen to, hurry up Ascot.
Very nice.
So hopefully if anyone's held on to listen to that, there's a little pearl at the end and I'm not going to give out until Ascot time.
There you go. Very nice. Well played.
All right, punters, thank you for listening, watching, however you do watch and listen. Hopefully you fill your pockets up. More importantly, we hope we fill your pockets up. We'll be back next week for Stradbroke Day. And, yeah, Hawaii 5-0. I'm just going to say it's going to win now.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.
And just lay the guts out of Coolangatta.